There is such a thing as divine timing, and most people don't really understand this. But let's just say, and I've used this example before, but I will again. Some of you might remember me saying this. Let's just say that my not negotiable is to go to Bora Bora. And I really had that strong intention and desire 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Well, I actually didn't know my husband, Cameron, 10 years ago. Very long story about how I manifested him, and thank goodness I did. But what if, in divine timing, my angels knew that I wouldn't want to have this memory of being in Bora Bora with anyone other than Cameron? There was a wisdom in not giving me what it is that I want. And I've often been observed as the girl who gets what she wants. I'm the kind of child who dug her heels in. And sometimes I didn't get what I wanted when I wanted it. But if it was actually that important, I did end up getting it, but usually in the most obscure way. And that is one of the greatest keys I can give all of you, or anyone ever actually, is it takes wisdom to know that there is such a thing as divine timing. Just recently, we've been talking about these two ladies. They're both in their late 70s, and one of them's just passed away. She had dementia. And when people talk about her and the accomplishments, she was one of the chiefs in the financial services industry when there were no women in that industry. And she was cheeky and fun and playful, and she was outrageous, and she dressed flamboyantly. And, you know, just before she passed away, she phoned me and she traveled to where we live, and she wanted to take me and Cameron out for dinner. And it was simply because I'd actually organized this very fabulous party for my parents for their 50th wedding anniversary. And she just wanted to tell me I was such a good girl, and she was so proud of me for doing something so thoughtful and considerate. And in her passing, there were stories from hundreds of people about how she went out of her way to do those kinds of things, to actually just help people to understand that she noticed them. And then there's this other story that we were listening to the other day about another woman who was just outrageous at parties. Like, she was like naughty. She was super cheeky. So anyway, no drugs back then, no tattoos back then, no whatever, right? But it was the way that people talk about her. And what I've realized is that what you want is to live the kind of life that people will talk about when they're talking about you. You actually literally spread more joy after you've gone, because people are they're so effervescent in the storytelling about you. So take the time leading into 2022 or throughout 2022 and decide first and foremost who you want to be. People often say about me that I'm the kind of person who sees the best in them. It's almost like I'm the Pollyanna, and that I make people feel better about themselves. I'm a really good PR person too. I'm often edifying people. I'm sharing what I see in others in such a way that I literally transfer this confidence in this person to the other person. I'm very good at that introduction process. I have to tell you, I decided that that's who I was going to be. I wasn't like that 30 years ago or 25 years ago or 20 years ago. And what I can tell you is that the way that we change who we are being is that we search for evidence from others that supports that we are becoming. I'll give you an example. Let's just say that Audrey decided that she wanted to be the kind of person who made people feel calm. And she decided that that was one of the ways that she wanted to be. Now, in the field of personal development, self-improvement, and self-growth, right, we talk about affirmations, and we talk about how if you say, I am calm, and I'm a great influence on people's lives, I'm a great influence on people's lives, that we will somehow program our subconscious. Yes, true, the long way. I don't know about you, but I don't have 500 years to this lifetime. Not yet, not that I know of anyway. So How do you fast track that? You actually have to have an audible, you are an influencer and you are calm, right? The words you are actually more important to us as human beings than I am. And most people don't ever really know this. And in Positive Prime, you'll notice that there's lots of you are statements, and that's by design. So I can have a I am love. I am love. I am love. And yet, I as a human being, when I hear you are love, Susie, will you say you are love to me?
You are love.
Okay, so let me try something with you. Lee, you are love.
The power of the name too. That's another beautiful part of it all.
Very, very, very good pickup, Susie. Susie, you are love. Patricia, you are love. Gunther, you are love. Clarissa, you are love. Mary, you are love. Audrey, you are love. Lee, you are love. Debbie, you are love. Janet, you are love. Now, what just happened there from a neuroscience and positive psychology point of view was that, yes, you felt it resonating, but when you were a child and somebody in authority that had your attention said, Gunther, you are amazing. Susie, you are remarkable. Lee, you're such a good girl. Patricia, you are. Clarissa, you are. There were millions of you ares. Some of us had really, really nasty, mean, awful things at the end of you are. And unfortunately, some of us bought those. We consumed them, we swallowed. What happens from our brain's perspective is that we go in search of evidence to support the URs. The URs come from what's called a power differential. And so if someone has your attention and they say you are, and they're in this position of authority, you either love them, the situation is intense, or they're older and you admire and respect them, or you need something from them, love, food, mother's milk, whatever. These are the components that make you adopt URs. And so people go and create vision boards, and what they don't put on these vision boards are these words that say, you are magnificent, you are a superstar, you are an amazing author, right? It's pretty simple stuff, but they don't actually understand the URs either. And what we've done very specifically with Positive Prime is that all of the authors that we collaborate with, who co-create the content with us, every session has I am love, and also has a statement that says you are love. And you also has a statement is that you are lovable and you are loving, because there is actually a different nuance with different tenses. And we also have the, thank you for helping me to feel loved. There are a lot of people who are loved who are so shut off from the expressions of love from others, they actually don't receive that they are loved, right? And interestingly enough, we know from brain scans of people who are on the spectrum, love is something that we determine via our retina's processing loving actions, and then our mirror neurons actually, they make these decisions and send messages to our body, and we start to produce the love chemicals. And interestingly enough, if we're born on the spectrum, we actually have less mirror neurons or neuronal cells. That's a fact. And it's one of the reasons why it's so difficult for emotional connection, because there's less processing ability. It's almost like if your mirror neurons were perfect and you knew I was reaching for an apple and I was about to pick it up, in pre-conscious processing, you knew by observing me that I was about to pick up an apple. There are a lot of people on the planet, more so now that we're aware of, who look at the person with the apple in their hand and go, how'd they get that? They actually couldn't even perceive that there was an action about to take place. It's like they can only recognize after the fact that something is concrete.